Ooh, what's going on? Vic from the Stump Shop back with another video, and today I'm going to show you 5 tools I can't live without. Now, when I say 5 tools that I can't live without, I mean mainly for working with stumps. That's a majority of my projects. So I'm going to break it down for you, the top 5 tools you need if you're going to be stumping. All right, let's get right into it with my number 1 tool, the chainsaw. It's cute, right? Not as cute as this one. And then finally, this one. That's the 20-inch DeWalt, the 16-inch, and the 12-inch, all for different sized projects. I also have a few more up there, but these are my main ones I use. And the chainsaw is definitely my number 1 tool. Let me tell you why. I feel like this one is really easy to explain, mainly because I'm working with large pieces of wood. Not only large pieces of wood, but logs. A lot of the times I need to cut these logs so I could work with them. So that's absolutely why my chainsaw is my most important tool. Let's take this piece for example. Almost 30 inches tall. That would be an absolutely ridiculous side table, 30 inches. That would be probably a foot taller than most couch armrests. So even this piece here, it's been drying for several years. And before I can do anything else with it, I would have to cut it down to proper size, usually between 18 to 22 inches for a side table. So chainsaw, mandatory. In fact, a piece like this, because of the chainsaw, if I cut it around here, now you got yourself a nice little cookie. So I've actually made 2 pieces out of 1. And perhaps the most important reason why the chainsaw is my number 1 tool, because without it, I'm not moving on to my second favorite tool, the plunge router. The router is crucial in the stump finishing process. Why? No one wants their wine glass tipping over, or no one wants to put something on a side table and it slowly starts to roll away. The plunge router, critical for leveling. I built this router jig a couple of years ago to level stumps perfectly. It works with this router currently, and I'm just building a sled for this one. But after cutting the stump to rough size with a chainsaw, rough size is not good enough. It needs to be perfect. So that's when I run the router over the stump top, then flip it, level the bottom out, and now you got yourself a 100% level stump using my second favorite tool, the router. All right, now for my third tool. Some of you may say I'm cheating, but number 3, the chisel and mallet set. Okay, regardless of which hammer you're using or which mallet, rubber, wood, the chisel and the mallet set are crucial in the stump game. Okay, as you can see, most stumps still have the bark on, but must be taken off prior to finishing the stump because eventually they'll chip off, and that's the last thing you want in your customer's home, bark falling off. So for debarking, for getting burls out, and for so many other things during the stump process, the chisel and mallet combo are simply irreplaceable. Do you now see why the chisel and mallet is so important, coming in at number 3? Okay, those of you that complained when the chisel and mallet were brought out because there were 2 pieces, you're really not going to like my number 4 tool, sanders. Now, I feel like this one's pretty self-explanatory also. Imagine your stump is leveled, it's debarked. Now what? You obviously have to sand it. The belt sanders, simply amazing for the top and the sides, but you just have to be careful that you don't actually shift the shape of the stump because belt sanders can be pretty powerful. But the ROS, the random orbital sanders, and the belt sanders, that combo of tools is absolutely mandatory for finishing stumps properly. Therefore, my number 4 tool that I cannot live without, sanders. And that brings us to our 5th most important tool when working with stumps. Now, I want everyone to keep in mind that these are 5 tools if you're working with these large pieces of wood. I don't intend for this video to come across as 5 tools you must have in your shop, or if you're just beginning out woodworking, I don't expect you to be buying plunge routers, things like that yet. But If you're going to be working with stumps, I get a lot of questions as to how to. Those are 5 tools which are pretty much crucial for the stump game. And I'll be putting out another video just on drying stumps and that process. So if anyone's interested in that, please hit that subscribe button, follow along, and that video will be coming out soon. All right, coming in at number 5 is the angle grinder. Also super important in the stump finishing process, but you could go without it. But let me show you how easy it is when you do have one of these, especially with a flap disc. Now, it's important to remember that if you're going to be using an angle grinder, you're going to need your sander anyways after to get rid of all those little ridges that the angle grinder leaves, especially if you're using a flap disc like this. But ultimately, a very valuable tool, especially if you're sculpting stumps or if you're, maybe crafting out a bowl or something. This tool comes in at number 5, the angle grinder. I think it's also important to mention that this is the tool that sliced my fingertip off. If I wasn't wearing gloves, I'm convinced it would be a lot worse, but it's still on an angle here, the tip of my middle finger. So just be careful when using this beast. Do not underestimate it. And that wraps that up. The top 5 tools you need in your shop if you're working with stumps. Thanks so much for watching. Get yourself these 5 tools. I'll be back with another video very soon. Ciao.